So it's a good looking track and no mistake. The forests and hillside there, unmistakable in the distance. Presuming, of course, that you are incapable of spotting the hillside and the trees for yourself. I've just kind of filled you in on that. Right, so we're going to put Bjorn on in car 1, Vanessa on in car 2. She can just live with that. I don't know why Bjorn's got soft tyres. We can't be doing with that. Anyway, I've taken the executive decision to try and save the setup that we go with for this one, to try and speed things up in future practices. Arguably, I should have done that quite some time ago, but we're going to do it now. Right, where are we? So, downforce. You're thinking low downforce for this one. Well, it is a speedy track, so if we knock this down to about 13.5 as a starting point, I think that sets out our stall quite. And in fact, let's go even lower than that. Let's go 13. There. That's pretty aggressive. Handling, you want understeer. Well, we can certainly oblige you on some of that, old son. That's not a problem. Gear ratios, you think more top speed. I don't think too much more top speed. I think like that much will probably do the trick. We'll go out on the super softs. The forecast for practice is cloudy, although the temperature is pretty warm, and we have heard already that the track is something of a brute when it comes to its abuse of tyres. Like Vanessa, you want more downforce. You can't have it, okay? You can tell you what, you have default. I'm going to give you a slightly longer gear ratio. All right, but whatever your mechanic is telling us here is bunkum, and you can have slightly harder suspension while we're at it. But that downforce, I'm not moving it anywhere else other than less downforce. It's a quick track with corners. Well, I mean that's actually quite a difference between the two drivers. So we'll see how they both fare. Weight stripping, yes, let's strip some weight. Now then, if I recall correctly, front wing, engine, and gearbox were the three that we shouldn't be messing with. So I think we'll strip a little bit out of suspension. It makes the suspension rather nice, doesn't it? And that might actually help on the cornering of this. 68 feels good. We could. What's the next one? 63. 68 will be okay. And we'll lose a little bit off the brakes while we're at it. Maybe a little bit more. It's chancy, but I like it. Whereas where Vanessa is concerned, we're not conserving nothing here. We're giving it everything we've got to try and get a result. And if that means that I overcook it and we end up having to stop for repairs, well, that's just life. So we've gained 40 on both. We've stripped. We've lost 20% reliability on both because I'm a bold competitor and I take no chances. Right, Vanessa, you can go out first. As much as you are driving the second car, you are still our lead driver, allegedly. So act like it. Bjorn, go get me paid, please. That's it. Go pay for the privilege of driving a racing car around the track a couple of times, and then report back to me. We'll stick them on something relatively aggressive. Let's follow Vanessa, given that Bjorn's only here because he's a payday. Now, I have no idea what to expect from the tyre performance here. Based on the pre-race reports, we may run into some difficulty after time, but let's see how we get on. I think I'll leave Vanessa out for 2 laps in order to get some knowledge into her and hopefully to set a standout lap time. It's unlikely to be the fastest lap time in practice, given that I've basically not done anything to the car in the slightest. Bjorn's going to come in this time. There we go. He's hitting the limiter on the straights. Oh, really? You think that maybe lower downforce would be good? And your gear ratios seem too short. So she's having top speed-based problems. I'm going to bring her in as well. As much as that will create a queue in the pit lane, I'm not keeping her out for no reason. when she's clearly not performing. Bjorn, meanwhile, has just set the fastest Sector 2 time. Although, since he is on a flying lap and the only competitor he's really got is his teammate, that's to be expected. Right. Speak with me, Vanessa. What do you feel about life? Okay, you're okay with the downforce. You're good with the handling, good with the speed. Okay with the speed balance. Well, let's... we don't want to lengthen the gear ratios. What we want to do is get you up there a bit quicker. So we're going to push the downforce to... yeah, I know it's not what the mechanic is recommending. Stuff the mechanic. He's wrong. All right? This is a low downforcey kind of a track. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional racing merchant. Meanwhile, you want a bit more top speed. So if we... I mean, 75 on the gear ratios is just wrong. There's no way that can be right. I'm doing that. Let's see what we get out of it. Do you need fresh tyres? Nah, we'll keep the ones you've got. And then... oh, okay. Hold everything. So Bjorn is reporting back that his downforce is just wrong. Handling's good. Speed balance is wrong. Interesting. All right. Well, let's bring you up to. Let's take you the opposite way. Nah, you can't possibly want that much. Let's leave it in the middle. Let's go 15s. That looks all right. We'll see what we get. Obviously, handling. What do you want? Do you want more? Do you want less? I mean, you had great. Feels like, yeah. Let's leave that alone and see what it gets us. Speed balance, you want more top-endy, I suspect. We'll see how that goes. This feels a little bit extreme on the gear balance and the thingamajig and the ratios and the doodah, but we'll just have to see how it pans out. There's Hans 00 setting the fastest lap. Look, get used to that as a concept. Playmoto in second at the moment, Fodder third, Plastic third. Never mind. The positions are changing so fast. It's really not worth my time trying to call them out. I would imagine both drivers will radio in shortly to say, "Oh, something's better, but this one is not as good." That's my expectation there. This time, I think we probably will leave one of them out. But I'm interested by the number of soft versus super soft tyre users we've got on the track. However, Mr. 00 has gone on the slicks, on the super soft, so I am very tempted to do the same thing, because rarely does he put a foot wrong. Whatever I've done to the downforce is not helping. Aero's setup is way better. Ha! Okay, well that's just weird. Well, let's bring her in, because I pushed the aerodynamics out the wrong way. So clearly a little more downforce is the way to go. She's just setting a couple of personal bests in sector times, but if she's not happy with the aerodynamics, then I am prepared to tweak those in an alternate direction. Let's have a look. So we're running 14s on there at the moment. She's not pleased. Was poor. Previous to that, it was okay. So she wants higher downforce. All right, fair play. Let's see how you feel about 16. Feels wrong to me. Just saying, does feel wrong. In fact, let's take it a bit further. Let's go 16.3. And obviously that means 26.3. I always leave a gap of 10. I shouldn't. I should be a little bit more discerning than that, but I'm not. So there it is. Suspension stiffness, we'll keep that where it was since it was excellent rated. Top speed, she was pretty happy with that. I'm not setting that flipping gear ratio. You've got to be kidding me. 94%. It's not that bad a track. Let's try to 81 and see how we get on with that. How are the tyres looking? Still got half their life left. That'll be fine to do another stint on at least. Meanwhile, here's Bjelland, who's third fastest man on the track. I know, I'm surprised as well. But he does have the better of the two cars, so maybe that isn't that surprising after all. Speed balance feels better now, guys. He finally reports in after setting the third fastest time, although he is on super soft. Let's not forget that. That's important. arguably very important. Right, he's good across the board. Now, we have upped the downforce for Vanessa, so if we do the same for him, he might be happier still. Maybe not quite as aggressive, maybe 15.9 would be nice. Handling is okay, but I really don't want to go much more stiff on the suspension. And he's also reasonably happy with the gear balance. But again, I'm leaning towards what Vanessa's been saying, which is, you know, give me some top speed there, Gov. She's got a bit of a cold at the moment, hence the husky voice. Right, okay, tyres look good. Get out there, make good decisions, win the game. Frankly, it doesn't really matter at this point. Just get out there and get some more experience so that we can have as much choice as possible when it comes to which tyres we should be playing with. Interestingly enough, 00's out now on regular soft tyres rather than the super soft, and I think we're going to see the strategy from him that we've seen before, where he'll start the race on one set of tyres, switch to something with a slightly longer lifespan, and then switch back to something speedy for his final run in. That would be my expectation. Come on, Bjelland, do some overtaking, man. It can't be that hard. Who's this Burke you've got in front of you? Whoever it is, get past him. Come on. You've been in their slipstream for about 3.5 months. There we go. Vanessa just set a personal best lap of 1:35, which is 0.4 of a second adrift of Bjelland. Not in itself terrible, and it's a top 6 kind of place. But then only Kitasato on the super soft tyres has done worse. So we're going to have to watch our use of tyres, as I've been reliably informed by, I think, everybody on the internet, that once your tyres drop below 25%, your tyres are pretty useless. Both of my drivers are now... I'm going to have to switch their tyres up. I mean, after very little time at all, they've both maxed the temperature on those tyres, and that's what really kills them. I can't put them out on those tyres. We could maybe save it for the final sprint, but we're going to have to go out on tyres that can handle the heat a little bit better, I think. So here's the social media gang. It's Johnny Lee. Don't know. Mulholland. I'm rooting for Bulldozer Power this season. Put a pretty big bet on them to do the business. You'd better deliver Colonel Failure. You're an idiot. Central Sports Network. There are a few slack jaws here in the press room about Bulldozer Power's pace in practice. Very good job. Slack jaws indeed, Sophie. Nail Timiv. Bjorn Bjelland had a pretty awesome session there. Nice driving. Yeah, he's going to go and sit back in the reserve driver shed. There we go. That's deleted all of my tweets that I've ever made. Right, onwards. So we need to set up for something that is going to be a little bit more long-standing, especially given the number of laps that we've got to perform here. And these slinky tyres, they're not going to do the job. So super soft is what we're currently sporting. 5% performance increase, not so bad. Versus light-footed, not so bad. Race trim we'll obviously take, and then I think we'll go with Nurse, and we'll switch to regular soft tyres. Should have put them out on soft tyres in practice to get that extra experience there, which will undoubtedly help us, but what can you do other than say shoulda, coulda, woulda? Fast pit tops, yeah, we'll take the risk taker. Yeah, might as well. Well, okay, maybe not capitalised as well as we might have there, but that's lice. Lice? Yeah, it certainly is lice. Meanwhile, because Nick Hazel is looking after his car better, I'm going to strip some more weight off it, because I like to live on the edge. Engine, we can lose 5% in order to gain 15 points on that. Totally, and there's lots of life in the gearbox. So let's dump 10% off that in order to give him a little bit more. Also, Vanessa's engine has got 94% reliability. Let's crank that up some, and then we'll take a 5 off the gearbox there. I reckon everybody's at it anyway, you know. So we'll see how that does. I'm prepared to break down, but we're not going to lose this without taking a few chances. Let's have a look at the weather here. The temperature's lower. Ha! And it certainly isn't going to get any greater as in the early stage of the race. So we're going to stick with our super soft choice here. I think that's a good idea. Okay. Do we want to stick with the nurse then? Or do we want the performance increase? No, we'll play it safe with car stuff, given that we've now stripped even more clobber out of the cars. But we'll stick with super soft. Right, what do we got here? Actually, not bad. I'm gonna leave them where they are. Where's the save button for my setup here? I've seen it somewhere. Let's save that one. Used in practice by Nicholas Hazel. Well, it wasn't though, was it? But you know, there's a new adventure. We've got an Ardennes save, and then we'll tweak that up next season. Right then, let's look at the tyres. What are these expected to do? 10 to 12. I suspect, sir, that you are having a giraffe, but we'll see how we get on. We'll take 10 laps of fuel at any rate. Session length is 24 laps. If you can get 12 laps out of that, we can get away with one stop, which must be what the soft tyre people are planning on doing. So we've got to plan on 2 stops. Do we want to remove any fuel? It's worth 0.2 seconds a lap. We'll take it. Yeah, we'll lose a little bit of fuel, come in a little bit early. If we've got 24 laps, that's 8 laps we need to do. So 9 is the right amount there. Meanwhile, as far as your Vanessa is concerned here, we'll save the setup. Tyre choice, will stick with it. 9 to 11. Ah ha 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 ha. So, what if we stick her out on soft initially? As I would anticipate that she's going to be a little bit slower. So if we take it easy, aim to come in at lap 10, and then switch onto some we'll go with 2 stops with her. But yeah, look, it's in my head. Okay, I've got a plan, and it might be okay, it might not be. We'll start them both out on aggro. In fact, we'll start Hazel off on super aggro. We're going to have to tell Vanessa to let him past, which may or may not be difficult. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. This is a risky proposition. Anyway, we are aiming for 10th place, and I aim to get it. So here's the lineup. It's Longo Plastic on the front of the grid. Start the scroll. Second row, it's Hong Lao and the despised Wolfthrath, followed by Steve Mush and Chris Shaw on row 3. Then you've got Maiko Kitasato and Kotso Masilella, who had a good result last week, but we'll see if we can follow that up. Followed by Xiao Hua Huyu Hawa and Vanessa Silvera. Then Nicholas Hazer has got a form of 0, but that doesn't seem to mean anything. Playmoto, Sarah Thomas and Trolley Fodder on the 7th row. Then Megahertz and Scene Mendez on the 8th. P. Ruto and Finger Puppet on 9th. And then the leaders, Scott Price and Hans 00, who has gone out on soft tyres initially. Same as Vanessa. Just, I'm just putting that out there. Just saying, that's the same strategy I've been thinking of. So here we go, we'll go in nice and close with a start. We're going to let Vanessa let her teammate through. Do as you're told, Vanessa. Oh, she's not having it though. Alright, I'll tell you what. Don't bother. You carry it, just drive your own race. Vanessa's taking absolutely no prisoners off the line. Hazel's coming up straight behind her. I think he's going to get in the corner here. Yep, there we go. No, he's not. No, she is furious and wants it. So I'm going to ease off with Hazel because the extra energy that I've got him on there is not actually doing him any favours, and he's stuck in the pack. But Silvera is actually making a bit of an impact. The cars are all pretty bunched up right now. The leaders, there is kind of a lead group breaking away, but whoever's this yellow number is slowing everyone else down. Vanessa not quite got enough to keep pace with them, but things will change up pretty swiftly. Meanwhile, Hazel's been overtaken by Mr. Mendez. These things happen. And we'll up the tempo on the race and zoom it out a bit. Silvera's lost 8th. It's disappointing. Hazel's back in 12th, despite everything. And I mean everything, right? Despite all of it, despite all the work that we've done with Hazel, he's letting me... It seems like no matter who I give the better car to, they can't be bothered to drive it properly, as both drivers lose another place. So, looking at tyre choices further up the grid, everybody 1 to 5 is running on the super soft tyres. Silvera has not got the pace for this. How's that tyre temperature? If we ease it off temporarily, just try and keep the temperature in the middle. Sorry, that's Hazel. Beg your pardon. He's doing nothing at the moment. And in fact, no, it doesn't really matter. He's coming in at lap 8-ish. Can't get past route. Something else has just happened there. There's a whole lot going on all at once, and I'm struggling to keep track of it. 10th and 12th, we're about to lose our sponsor's position, but Silvera is rocking a 9.9 form, which, as I think we've already established, is meaningless. But she's certainly not giving up this position without a fight, and Hazel is not doing enough to actually get past. So she's in a battle for her life right now with P. Ruto, who is keen to get past. Now, she's keeping pace with the group ahead of her, and is even challenging Hong Lao there. Maybe if we switch to a ready for action, let's put you on overtake on engine mode. We'll chance it. There we go. Have an attack for a bit, Vanessa. See how you get on. And Hazel's managed to get 11th. That's nice. So there we go. This is a Bulldozer Power 10-11 play, and to be honest, I've rarely seen races hold together to be this closely matched at this stage of the race. That's quite unusual. It really is, very close indeed. Vanessa's got 4 and a bit laps to go. Her tyres are starting to heat up a bit, so we might ease that off. Try and keep them alive. Meanwhile, Hazel has already cooked his tyres. We'll stick him on conserve to try and get those to drop down as he actually moves up to 7th. That's pretty exciting stuff. He's coming in 2 and a bit laps, but his tyres are going to take an absolute pasting before then, unless he takes it easy, which he's currently not doing. Silvera's managed to lose it entirely and is down to 13th. Put the pressure back on there, Vanessa. But Hazel now has actually got some space over Hong Lao, who's in 8th. His tyres have cooled back off, so we can put him back on push again. 2 laps worth of fuel to go, so when he passes the line again, I think I'll bring him in, because he's unlikely to have a full tank to play with for a final lap. 00 meanwhile has moved up from the back of the grid to 10th already. He really has got the best car, and he is probably the best driver. Now then, the question is, are we going to pit Hazel this lap, or are we going to hang on for one more? Well, that answers that question. Right, he's got the juice to get it done, but you are coming in. We'll stick you back out on the fast stuff. 9 laps appeared to be about right, so we'll... I don't want 9.2. Fill it up and then reduce 1. No, that's too difficult, I guess. Fine. How are we looking on parts? So we've lost a bit off the brakes, but that doesn't matter. Gearbox looks good. Engine looks good. Suspension looks good. We're all happy here. We're going to go for a fast switch, despite the risk of 40% of it all coming unstuck. I like it. Let's live on the edge. Live fast, die young. Leave an ugly-looking pit stop. Vanessa's looking pretty good. She's got 1 and a bit laps left to go. We're going to follow her because Hazel has already been commanded into the pits. I just want to make sure that I don't accidentally ruin life for my second driver here, who I would quite like to stay out a little longer, but she's going to burn through all her fuel in that time. Tyres are off the boil a little bit. That's less than ideal. Anyway, Hazel's in the pits. He's doing things. Things are happening. Hopefully that's not going to break it. And we'll give the pit command there to Vanessa. Well, actually, she only got one more lap out of that. She is going to have to stop, it looks like, at least once more. So we'll stick her out on the rip 'em up tyres, fill up the tank, park condition. How are we looking? 50% on the brakes is less than ideal. Everything else looks pretty much okay. Pit strategy, do it quickly and get it done. Hazel has exited the pits. It looks like he's going to exit in 15th. Vanessa's on low fuel, but I don't care. Burn the rest of it. She's coming in anytime soon. The faster we can get round this, the better it's going to be for us. I'm pretty sure she's close to the pit lane. I really hope she's close. Very, very hopeful that she's close to the pit lane now. This feels like it. There we go. We're in. So she's in immediately behind Hans 00, who's in with just about everybody on the track at this stage. How's she doing? It's a good pit stop. No mistakes. Let's just push. Let's not go too aggressive on this. She's back out in 12th. Hazel's in 8th. Yeah, that's okay. Fodder and Hertz have still got to come in, which means that Hazel is effectively 6th overall. Although he's 20 seconds behind the current leaders. We'll see how he gets on with that. But it looks like it's going to be a two-stop strategy for just about everybody, unless there are incidences on the track that would lead to people having to stop again. We've got to keep an eye on tyre temperature. We don't want a repeat of last time where our temps went off the chart and life became very poor indeed. Let's just check the weather. Yep, temperature's staying manageable, overcast for the rest of the day by the looks of it. Certainly no sign of the 40% chance of rain that we were promised. And that's okay. I can live with that. Silvera's not playing fine at the moment. She can't get past Moto in the slightest. She's back in 12th. Being closed down by Price. It's not that surprising given that she hasn't got the greater of the two cars. Hazel's starting to eat his tyres. Honestly, that boy. He's going to lose 7th here. He's possibly going to lose 8th as well. I just can't keep him on the I can't keep him on the throttle all the time, people. It's just not happening. 00's closing him in. Obviously, 00's going to overtake, since he is the greatest driver to have ever existed in this particular championship. But Hazel's not making it easy for him. He's going, no, Hans, I'm not making it easy for you. That's pretty much his words. He just got in touch with me over the radio. But he's staying up there. No, there he goes. 00's going flying through. Next up is Thomas, who is another of the more premier drivers in this series. Vanessa's also chewing on her tyres now, so we need to ease both of my guys back again. We need to be thinking about pitting maybe lap 16, lap 17 ideally. Earlier than that, we're going to have to play something of a conservative approach, as Hazel takes 7th. He's just taken 7th off Hans 00. Cleanly as well. There was no traffic at play there. That was Hazel. He's just done it again. Has 00 got something wrong with his car? That'd be nice. Well, stay tuned, people. This is 00's. He's not on the pace. He's off the pace. He's on the slower tyres. Oh, I wonder if he's planning to stay out for the remainder of the race. He can't. Surely he hasn't got a fuel tank that will handle that. Well, I don't know. Whatever the reason, that's quite the turn up for the books. Hazel was saying something there. I didn't pay any attention to it. As he's now clawed in. He's gone past Mendez. Hazel's loving it. No, he's lost it again. He's going to get it though. Mendez is, he doesn't want it as much as Hazel does. Hazel knows that he's coming in for his second stop pretty soon. Almost on time. If I were to ease back, we might be able to keep him out a little bit longer. But, frankly, while he's flying, I want to capitalise on that. Silvera does have a lap of fuel over Hazel, as he's got oxygen ahead of him and oxygen behind him. He is on himself now in 6th. Closing down the Reverend Plastic, I would assume, as Vanessa goes down to 12th. Oh dear. we'll stick her on full conserve on those tyres, because she's not going to make use of that extra fuel that she's got. And while I was looking at that, 00 has managed to get past Mendez and is closed down Hazel again. So I don't know if he eased up for a bit there or what. Meanwhile, no, it's Hazel's tyres. Took my eye off the ball. His tyres are cooked. They're going to start falling apart anytime soon. I need to pit him this lap anyway. That's a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to keep him out a bit longer. So he'll be coming in on 17 of 24, which means I'm going to need to be protectionist of those tyres, or we stick him out on slightly less speedy tyres, but slightly more durable, knowing that we've easily got enough to get him through the race. Let's do that. I know it feels like cowardice. It is in part cowardice, and that's what we're going to do. All the parts are absolutely fine. We're going to go fast again and just hope we don't completely screw our chances. Meanwhile, Wolfrath has got technical problems again. Reverend Plastic is in the pits, but he's now on fresh rubber. Hazel's going to come in from 4th. But if you look at the standings overall, there is less than a minute separating all drivers. And that's interesting, as I'm sure you'll agree. So Hazel will enter the pits almost, well now. We'll see how he gets on there. Tyre wear for Vanessa's pretty horrible. We can keep her out for one more lap. We'll tell her just to be unpleasant towards her car. She's going to come in on 18. Do we put her out on the quick stuff, or do we put her out on the reliable stuff? We'll put her out on the quick stuff. We'll give her a ton of fuel. She'll have 6 laps left to do. Apparently 10 laps worth. Let's drop that to 8.3. Do it, won't it? How the parts looking? Well, the brakes don't look brilliant. The engine looks less than brilliant. The suspension doesn't look great either, but we're committed to this course of action, so we'll see how we get on. The pit stop for Nicholas has been completed. It was a bad pit stop. Barry Youngjohns, Mr. Longjohns there, hosing up the pit change. I'll be having words with him after the race, possibly using a socket wrench. Meanwhile, Severa's going to come into the pits anytime soon. Now, she is obviously less prone to mistakes than her teammate, but it comes down to the pit crew and whether or not they want to keep their jobs. We are now outside where we need to be to qualify for our sponsor bonus, which is a bit disappointing. But on the track ahead of us, what have we got? We've got Fodder and Puppet and Hertz and Ruto and Longo, who all still need to come in, which will propel Hazel back into the top 10, which is enough for us to take home an extra 400 grand's worth of prize money. And that's the kind of prize money I really want to take home. We've got excess fuel on board both cars right now, so I'm going to tell them both just to, throw all caution to all winds, and see if we can't make something grand happen as a result. And as Hazel moves up to 9th thanks to some pit stops, there's still 2 or 3 pitters ahead. Vanessa's up to 12th. This is actually not a bad performance from her, given that she has got the worst car. But even so, I would have liked to see a little bit more energy coming out of the number 1 driver at Bulldozer Power. But I guess the difference in car is too different as Hertz comes in. Now, we had a 25-second cushion over Hazel, so we'll see if Hazel can capitalise on this as we come round past the pit straight. Our survey says no result. Hertz managed to get out with 2 seconds to spare there. Well, shucks. Let's think about keeping the tyres alive here, people. Hazel's got a cushion of 2 seconds. We'll ease back a little bit, and then if it comes down to it, I'll tell him just to murder everything. That's 8th he's closing in on, and with 3 laps left to go, if I can cool those tyres off a bit, I'll put him on full charge to round out the race and see if we can't make some magic happen in that classic Bulldozer Power way. Vanessa's tyres there looking a little bit, baked. We'll ease her off as well. Hazel's keeping pace with Plastic, despite the fact that he's being careful. But Plastic's tyres actually don't look great. Now, there's only a couple of laps left to go. Oh, hold on. There's Hazel losing a place, look. That's not what you want to see. Attack, 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 attack. Let's make this happen now, and then we'll ease back again if we have to. Wu Yao's retired, which is good, because Wu Yao was in the top 10. Vanessa's reporting strange noises from the engine. Will tell her to ease it off. A finish at this point would be lovely. As Hazel manages to get himself up to 7th, yes. He's going to need to put a little bit more action in here because his tyres are starting to look a bit crispy. I'm going to ease them off now, and then maybe... No, hold on. We're on the last lap, so we'll do just enough to hopefully not cook them too much, and I'll be ready to put him onto turbos should the need arise. Here we go, last lap. See, it changes to say that it's the last lap when the leader passes. It should do it when your lead driver passes, in my humble opinion. Right, Vanessa, everything's looking good on Vanessa. Tell her just to kill the car. That's a good thing to do. Hazel, go for it. The next guy in 6th, it's worth it. It's worth the risk. The tyres are at just over the temperature that is ideal. I don't think he's got enough track left to make it happen. It would be lovely to close down 6th, but it wasn't to be. 7th it is. That's nice enough for our sponsorship payment. I think we possibly closed down the likes of Wolfrath and Price there, based on having tyres that had a little bit more life in them. Silvera getting a very respectable 11th. It's okay. It's, you know, I would have liked both drivers in the top 10, but you know, 11 and 7 there, it's okay. That's good enough to maintain our team position, certainly. So if we look at our pit stop strategy here, 00 went out on the regular softs there twice, basically mirroring Moto and Hertz, a Brazilian triple bill there in terms of strategy. Hazel went aggro and managed to get a goodly amount of life out of the super softs. He really is quite capable with those. Vanessa there also putting out a good number of laps on super soft tyres, and I think that's what cost us actually. We might have been able to do a little bit better had I not been quite so aggressive with my tyre choice, but I can't say that I'm overly disappointed with the result. Oh, risk of rule break is medium. Apparently we didn't break any rules. Ha 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 ha, what do you know there, referee? Meanwhile, Mendes has been demoted by 2 places, which puts Nicholas Hazel up to 6th. So 6th place finish is good. That's very nice. I approve of this. Oh, Mendes, you dirty, dirty racer. I think you should be kicked out of the entire series. I'm just saying. So there we go, confirming the championship there, and Hazel's now up to 9th, Vanessa's in 12th, but there's only 6 points between them. Let's not make this into something that it isn't. This isn't a runaway for Nicholas Hazel. He's doing well, but, you know, there's plenty of season left to go. He's also 4 points of drift trolley fodder in 8th, so, you know, there's stuff that could happen here. But Firebird MRT, as you can see, we've basically made a Firebird sandwich of Kotso and Sara there, and that's going to make the team standings very interesting, as we are 4 points ahead in your face Firebird MRT. We've not secured 5th for our very own just yet, and I think 5th, maybe 6th is where we'll end up, providing I manage to keep some kind of consistency as the season rounds out. And the social media. Where did P. Ruto learn to drive? It's like watching me mum, says Elisa Fernandez, who's from several places. XBC Sport, Simon Higgins, the Bulldozer Power team principal, Colonel Failure, is delighted at a high finishing position. Delighted's a bit strong, okay, Simon? I mean, don't impose what you think I should be feeling, if you'd be so kind. I'm satisfied with that result. Luke Finley, Maxwell, XBC Sport, Result, Massilella, Kitasato, and 00123. Now, I'm going to be debating whether or not to switch my drivers over for the next race. It goes against the rule that I set only one race ago, but I'm not 100% comfortable with running Nick in the better car, despite the fact that he does have the standout skills when it comes to fitness and overtaking. And overtaking is what it's all about if you want to win races. But let's not forget that Silvera actually achieved a podium this season, and she's actually not that far at all from levelling up cornering. Ooh. Nicky Boy's gonna upgrade his focus. Amazing. Pretty soon, but I'm going to debate it long and hard. Let me know what you think in the comments, people. Meanwhile, here's the cash situation. We've burned 800 grand at the end of this race, but it's okay. We've got Kurt's wallet and another sponsorship round still to hit up. From the World Motorsport Championship, which was happening at the same time in Cape Town. James Fishburne first, Telspigori in second, and Lucal in third there. Lucal, an unusual appearance there on the podium. This gives Fishburne a goodly 8-point lead in the championship. No, I can't count. A goodly 12-point lead in the championship ahead of Johnson and Don. Telspigori's continued good performance gets her up to fourth, while 8-6 and Shoot round out the top 6. This result from Lucal, which was worth 6 points, is his first 6 points of the season, enough to take him up to 12. Meanwhile, here's what we already know. Masalella in first, Maiko Kitasato in second, and Hans 00 in third. I'm sure 00 is a little bit upset by that. But then if you look at Scott Price finishing 7th overall behind Nicholas the Wunderkind Hazel, that's actually opened the gap up for 00 a little bit more. So that's going to wrap it up for this weekend. My job security is very secure. I would expect nothing less of that. Why don't you tune in next week where we will be back for our next race in the season, where we hope that Munich will be another good one for us. I've been Colonel Failure. Please chuck a like at this one. Follow at Bulldozer Power on Twitter and subscribe to make sure that you've got front row seats for our next glorious adventure. Thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you very soon. Cheerio.